I'm Dave DeWalt. My family moved in the area back in 48 when I was 10 years old, and I started to come into Salem about 48 to 50. And this is my friend Paul.
I'm Paul Wendling. I've been coming here since probably 1940 when the church was revitalized, and we're standing now in the old church. We call it the old church. It's called it the chapel now. But, what you're looking at is the walls here, and I'm looking up at the ceiling now, which is a beautiful tin ceiling, but you will notice that there's two pie plates on the ceiling, and that's where the stovepipe from the coal stove, which was over on the right side and the left side. We had two coal stoves here that were here until about 1943 or 44, and then they converted to oil heat. And my dad and other men would come up, and before the service starts, an hour or so before the service starts, they would throw their chestnut coal into the stove and warm up the auditorium for the service. So it's changed drastically since we had services here, but what I'm looking at now is the area up above where the organ speaker was. We put a new door in there. We had an organ which was up on the left-hand corner of this church, and then down on the lower part was the piano.
We also had 3 windows here, like is on the opposite side. You can still see, I think, the outline of them. I think one was here, one there, and one where the door is. There is a rope that got played every evening. Johnny Wendling would pull that.
Yeah, that's a rope for the bell,
Yeah,
for the church bell.
And every New Year's Eve service, he would pull that at 12 o'clock.
At 12 o'clock, right.
Paul mentioned the piano player was Nedra, her married name is Hendricks, and it was her and her husband that donated the money to Salem to do this, to redo this.
All these windows here, they're all the original, as far as I can remember. But they had a beautiful chandelier that hung from the middle of the ceiling.
Well, years ago, you can imagine how hot it would get, how hot it is now. We would open the windows, and at that time, years ago, there was an atheist that owned the farm that's back here, that is now the Dries farm. Remember that guy?
Right.
He would be upset because he could hear us singing up here, like on a Sunday evening or a Wednesday evening. And he was really against the church and the church people. He didn't want anybody to step foot on his land, which is what he had owned up here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he owned a pond. He owned a pond, and he made a stipulation that if there was a fire here and the church was involved in the fire company was not allowed to use the water out of that pond to put out the fire.
Right. They could use it for anything else.
We never had a fire, but that was
Praise God. Yeah.
a regulation he had.
Yeah, he was. But what happened to him is, it's amazing how the Lord works. Is he and his wife got killed and had an accident on Macungie Mountain Road.
Right.
And after that, then I think Mr. Dries bought the farm and all the property.
Right.
Who is from? That's who we bought the land from.
Property from.
Yeah.
Right.
So God moves in mysterious ways.